Hello and welcome to another in the range of training videos regarding CentreCharge. Today's video is about moving a client from one office to another in the same building. That within CentreCharge is called a license transfer. To start the process, you must find the old license or the existing license of the client that you are moving. And to do that, we go over and click on the Licenses button, and to search for the customer, make sure the lookin is set to the account and type in the account name that you're looking for. In this case, I'm looking for a company called Smith Enterprises. I've chosen just to type in Smith, and you can see it's returned the result that I want. The next step is to have a look at the current situation of the existing license, because we need to check whether this customer has been billed in advance, because there may be a credit due to this customer. So to do that, we just double click on this, and this will open the existing license agreement. We can see it runs from the 25th of March 2011 to the 24th of March 2012. We go up to the Rent tab, click on that. We can see they're paying £500 a month, and if we double click on this, it will show us how far in advance they have been billed. In this particular example, they've been billed up to the 30th of April. It's also worth looking on the service charges to see the exact same issue, and again I can see for their IT package they've been billed up to the 30th of April. So with that in mind, we're now ready to go ahead and starting to create the new license for the new office that they're moving to. And to do that, we simply click on Transfer License. You say yes to Are you sure? Now in this example, we are not moving the customer to a new site. If we were, we would simply select the new site that they were moving to. But in this case, we're leaving them in the same building. We select the transfer date. This is a very important date. This is the date that the rent is effective from in the new office. So in this case, they will be taking occupancy of the new office on the 25th of April. So I simply select the 25th of April here and choose that date, and it's also worth recording the reason for the transfer. In this case, it's an upgrade. Once I've got my details right, I can click OK, and the software will take just a second to produce a copy agreement, a new license agreement, as we can see here. The old license was number 29, the new is 36. The details are all the same here. It's worth going into the opportunity type and changing that to an upgrade, and in this case it's an office move. The start date is the 25th and the term is 12 months. Now ultimately you can change this term to whatever you want the new license to be. The billing address remains the same, as does the registered office, so there's nothing to change here. Now, originally they are in Suite 13 and this has been brought across. So to move them into the new office, I simply double click on Suite 13 and I now select from here the new office that I'm moving them to. And in this case, I'm moving them to Suite number 16. And we can see the rent has been auto-scheduled here and the billing is scheduled here. Now if you don't want to raise a bill for the first period, you simply uncheck Invoice Now and no bill will be raised. And what will happen is when you invoice the client, the rent will be automatically picked up on invoicing once it's activated. In this example, it knows that we're holding £1,000 deposit, and it's going to move that across to the new room, but it also knows that we need to top up the deposit by £1,000. If I was to change the amount of rent, I simply can go in here and type in the new amount of rent that I have agreed with the client, and the deposit will be auto-calculated based on that rent. Once I'm happy with the content of this new license, I can click Save. It will warn me that I've not chosen anything to bill, and you can click Yes because it will be picked up in your next bill run. So the room is now set to bill £900 in this case, and the deposit has been topped up by a further £800. If you want to keep the contract services the same or you want to add more, you can simply do the same process by clicking Add or removing this contract service. Once you're happy that everything is correct, you can now go down to the license comments, and in this case it's worth recording any internal comments. So I'm going to say the deal was approved by Jim, the regional manager. So I'm just recording that. And ultimately, if you're recording any non-standard terms on the license, and in this case what I have negotiated with the client is that they can have some free meeting rooms. They have 5 hours free meeting rooms for 3 months. So I'm just simply recording that fact on the license. Once I'm happy everything is on the license, I can click Preview License to create the license agreement that I'm now going to issue to the customer. It will just take a second to create the license agreement, whereby it will merge in all the data that I've put on this license. So this is all now merged in, and if we look on the next page, you can see it's basically pulled out the schedule of the billing that we've agreed with the IT package. And at this point I can either choose to issue the license by sending it to my printer or emailing it to the tenant directly, or to yourself. In this case I'm going to email it to the tenant, and the license will be attached as a PDF to an email. Just takes a second, and here it is attached to the email. The tenant email address is there from Smith Enterprises, and I'm just going to say, Dear Justin, please find new license for Office 16. And we're now ready to send that off. And what will happen now is the licenses will be change status. So if we look at the 2 existing licenses that we have the old one which is in the process of transferring, and note the new one has been given a status of issued. Once we have the license signed and back to us, we simply go into the new license, open it up, and we can click Activate, assuming nothing's changed. The account ID remains the same, there's no change of accounts ID, and all the billing details remain identical. Once you're happy with that, you can simply click Activate Now. And what will happen is, in this particular example, is a little message pops up, says the license has been activated. And in this example, it has created a new invoice for the deposit for £800, which is correct. And the second invoice has been created here, which we'll just have a look at now. Which is a credit note, which is for the period on the old office, suite number 13, for the 25th of April to the 30th of April. Once you now can either print those or email them to the client, but once you do that, that is the end of the process. The client has been transferred, and that is all you need to do. And that ends today's short lesson on transferring a license from one office to another within the building. Thank you.